Why the US fears India's rise now, the real reason. My friends, listen to me carefully. Around the world, power is shifting, a new force is rising. A force with unstoppable energy, discipline, and vision. That force is India, and right now, the United States is watching closely, even nervously, because India's rise is not just about numbers, not just about population, not just about technology. It's about a mindset that refuses to be underestimated, refuses to stay behind, and refuses to accept limitations. India is no longer the sleeping giant. It is wide awake, and it is moving with speed and strength. Every nation feels it. They see the rapid growth in technology, in defense, in economics, in space, in global leadership. And when a nation begins to rise with such unstoppable momentum, the old powers start to ask themselves, what if we lose control? What if the balance of the world is no longer ours to dictate? That fear is real. That is why the US fears India's rise today. But let me tell you the real reason. It's not just about politics. It's about transformation. India is proving that determination, discipline, and vision can outshine excuses, and that terrifies those who believe dominance would last forever. Think about it. In technology, India is producing some of the sharpest minds in the world. In business, Indian entrepreneurs are changing the global stage. In defense, India is no longer dependent, but self-reliant and ambitious. In culture, the voice of India is loud, proud, and unapologetic. This is a story of power being built step by step, muscle by muscle, discipline by discipline. That's why fear exists, because nobody can stop a nation that has chosen to believe in itself. And what can we learn from this? We must understand that greatness is not given, it is built. India has shown the world that when you invest in hard work, when you push beyond excuses, when you stand tall with pride, you can rise from being overlooked to being feared, from being underestimated to being unstoppable. So I challenge every one of you today, stop waiting for opportunities, create them. Stop asking for permission, take action, build your strength, build your knowledge, build your influence. Because the truth is this, when you choose to rise, nothing and no one can hold you down. Stand tall like India. Be relentless like India. Refuse to be ignored, refuse to be silenced, refuse to be weak. The world doesn't fear the ones who talk. The world fears the ones who take action, who build power, who demand respect through results. Now it's your turn. Rise up. Train harder. Work smarter. Believe stronger. The time to act is now. The time to rise is now. The world is watching. So show them your power. The greatest power that any individual, any community, or any nation can possess is the power of self-belief and transformation. It is not money. It is not resources. It is not luck. All of these things mean nothing if there is no belief. Belief is the spark that ignites every revolution, every invention, every breakthrough. Without it, people remain in the shadows. With it, they rise into the light, unstoppable and unshakable. India's rise today is not just about statistics or military strength. It is about the belief of over 1 billion people who decided that they are not weak, not dependent, not second to anyone. That shift in mindset is the most powerful weapon of all. Think of it like bodybuilding. You walk into the gym for the first time, people look at you and say you are too small, too weak, too inexperienced. You lift those weights and your hands shake, your body feels pain, and you almost believe them. But then something happens. You look into the mirror and say, I can do this. I will do this. That moment of belief changes everything. The weight doesn't get lighter. The struggle doesn't disappear. But your strength begins to grow because your mind has already transformed. That is exactly what is happening with India. For decades, people labeled it as a nation that could never catch up, that could never lead, that would always follow. But belief is like fire. It spreads, it grows, and when it takes over, it transforms weakness into power. Transformation does not come from wishing. It comes from action. But before action, there must be belief. When 1 billion people start believing they are destined for greatness, they stop accepting excuses. They stop looking to others for validation. They stop waiting for handouts. They start building their own future. And that is what makes the world nervous. Because nothing is more dangerous to the old order than people who finally believe in their own strength.
When you look at your own life, you must understand this truth. If you don't believe you can achieve, you will never even take the first step. If you don't believe you can change, you will stay exactly where you are. The power of transformation starts in your mind long before it shows in your results. That is why so many people fail. They give up before their belief has even had the chance to grow. But if you keep feeding that belief, if you keep telling yourself that you can, if you keep moving forward no matter what, you will shock the world just like India is doing right now.
Belief transforms fear into courage. It transforms obstacles into opportunities. It transforms rejection into motivation. Without belief, challenges crush you. With belief, challenges shape you. That is why leaders are born not when everything is easy, but when everything is difficult. Pressure creates diamonds, and belief gives you the strength to handle that pressure. You must train your mind to see yourself as capable, powerful, and worthy. People will laugh. People will doubt. People will tell you it's impossible. But belief does not ask for permission. Belief does not wait for approval. Belief is the quiet voice that says, keep going. You are stronger than you think. You will rise. That is the same voice that has awakened in India. And it is the same voice you must awaken in yourself. Because once you believe, transformation is inevitable. Strength is not only built in the body, it is built in the mind. Muscles can make you powerful, but knowledge and innovation make you unstoppable. That is why India's rise is sending shockwaves around the world. It is not just about the number of people, it is about the brilliance of the people. It is about the young generation, the thinkers, the engineers, the scientists, the entrepreneurs who refuse to accept limits. They are building strength, not only with hard work, but with intelligence, with creativity, with vision. And that kind of strength lasts far longer than weapons or armies, because it keeps reinventing itself. Look around you. Every great transformation in history came not from those who had the most resources, but from those who had the most innovative minds, the ones who dared to think differently, who dared to challenge their old way of doing things, who dared to see possibilities where others only saw walls. India has embraced this spirit, from space exploration to digital revolutions, from renewable energy to artificial intelligence. It has shown that strength is not about copying the past, but creating the future. And this is the kind of strength that makes the world nervous, because it cannot be stopped by borders or sanctions or intimidation. It is born in the mind, and once the mind is free, there are no chains strong enough to hold it back. When you want to change your own life, you must follow the same principle. You cannot only build the body, you must also build the mind. Knowledge is a weapon. Innovation is your armor. The world is full of people who work hard, but never move forward, because they refuse to learn, because they refuse to adapt, because they cling to old habits that no longer work. If you want to rise, you must be a student every day of your life. Read more, learn more, explore more, question more, be curious, be hungry, and never settle for what you already know. Because the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. Innovation requires courage. It is easy to follow the path that others have walked. It is easy to do what everyone else is doing. But the ones who change the world are the ones who take risks, who create new paths, who break the rules of average thinking. That is why India's youth are becoming a force the world cannot ignore. They are not just following orders. They are creating new systems, new businesses, new technologies. They are proving that the true measure of strength is not how much you can lift, but how much you can create. Think of your own potential. Every time you learn a new skill, every time you push yourself to think differently, every time you step into unknown territory, you are building strength. Just like lifting heavier weights builds muscle, challenging your brain builds innovation. At first it feels uncomfortable. At first you will fail. At first people will tell you that you are crazy. But this is exactly how greatness is born. Comfort zones never create legends. Struggles and experiments do. And remember this, the combination of discipline and knowledge is explosive. If you have knowledge without discipline, you will never use it. If you have discipline without knowledge, you will never grow. But if you combine both, you become unstoppable. That is the formula India is applying today. Relentless discipline in education, in technology, in innovation, in progress. That is why it is feared, because this kind of power cannot be destroyed by force. It keeps regenerating, it keeps evolving, it keeps expanding. And if you apply this to your own life, if you dedicate yourself to building not just strength in your body, but strength in your mind, then you too will become unstoppable. Struggle is the greatest teacher of all. Struggle is not your enemy, it is your fuel. Every great nation, every great leader, every great champion has faced struggle, and instead of being broken by it, they used it to become stronger. India's rise is not built on comfort or privilege. It is built on decades of hardship, on years of being underestimated, on countless challenges that could have crushed its spirit. But instead of breaking down, it rose up. Instead of surrendering, it fought back. Instead of crying about difficulties, it turned them into power. That is the real secret of strength. Learning how to use struggle as your advantage. You see, when everything is easy, you don't grow. When everything is handed to you, you don't build resilience. But when life hits you hard, when people doubt you, when resources are limited, when doors are closed, that is when greatness has the chance to be born. Because those who refuse to give up under pressure become unshakable. Those who keep moving forward when others would quit become unstoppable. Struggles are like weights in the gym. The heavier they are, the more they hurt, but the more they make you grow. India's history is filled with struggle. Foreign domination, economic challenges, poverty, skepticism from the world. Yet every single obstacle became a lesson. Every setback became motivation. Every doubt became energy. And now, when the world looks at India, they don't just see a nation, they see resilience. They see fire. They see a spirit that cannot be destroyed. That is why there is fear. Because a people who have learned to rise from struggle cannot be defeated. And in your life, you must take the same lesson. Do not run from your struggles. Do not complain about your struggles. Do not curse your struggles. Use them. Every rejection you face, use it to push yourself harder. Every failure you encounter, use it to learn and adapt. Every time someone tells you that you can't, let that voice echo in your head as motivation to prove them wrong. The pain you feel today is building the strength you will need tomorrow. The obstacles that stand in front of you are not blocking your path. They are shaping your path. People often say they want success without struggle. But that's like saying you want muscles without lifting weights. It's impossible. You don't grow in the moments of comfort. You grow in the moments when you are tested, when you are tired, when you are on the edge of quitting but decide to keep going. That decision to keep fighting when everything is against you is what separates the weak from the strong, the average from the extraordinary, the forgotten from the unforgettable. Struggles also give you perspective. When you know what it means to fight for every inch, to work for every opportunity, to sacrifice for every success, you never take victory for granted. You value it more. You protect it more. And you respect the journey that got you there. That is why those who have risen from struggle always carry a fire in their eyes, because they know the price of progress, and they know they will never go back. So embrace your struggles. See them as your training ground. Every setback is your classroom. Every difficulty is your test. Every hardship is your chance to rise higher. If you can learn to transform pain into power, if you can train your mind to see obstacles as opportunities, then there is nothing that can stop you. Struggle is not a punishment. It is the gift that prepares you for greatness. Discipline is the backbone of greatness. Without it, talent is wasted, potential is lost, and dreams remain only dreams. Discipline is what separates those who wish from those who achieve, those who talk from those who act. And when discipline is combined with relentless action, it creates leaders who are fearless, leaders who inspire, leaders who cannot be stopped. That is what the world is witnessing in India's rise today. A nation that has embraced discipline in education, in defense, in technology, in industry, and backed it up with consistent, relentless action day after day. That is why it is no longer seen as a follower, but as a leader on the global stage. Think about it. You can have the biggest goals in the world, but without discipline, they are just fantasies. You can dream of building a strong body, but if you don't wake up early, if you don't train, if you don't eat right, nothing will happen. You can dream of success in business, but if you don't put in the hours, if you don't learn, if you don't sacrifice, you will stay in the same place. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, you never cross. With it, you cross every obstacle. India's rise is not accidental. It is not luck. It is discipline. Generations of people committing themselves to education, to hard work, to mastering skills, to building industries. Leaders committing themselves to strategy and consistency. Scientists and innovators committing themselves to research and progress. Soldiers committing themselves to training and readiness. This is the power of discipline. It creates momentum. And when that momentum is combined with relentless action, it builds something that nobody can ignore. Relentless action means you don't stop. You don't slow down. You don't make excuses. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You move forward no matter what. The world is full of people who start, but never finish, who talk but never act, who plan but never execute. But greatness comes only to those who take action again and again, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when nobody is watching. Consistency beats brilliance every time. That is why the disciplined and the relentless always rise above the talented but lazy. Look at your own life. Ask yourself, are you disciplined? Do you control your habits, or do your habits control you? Do you wake up and do what needs to be done, or do you wait until you feel like it? Do you take relentless action every single day? Or do you quit when things get difficult? If you want to become a leader, if you want to be respected, if you want to be feared in the best sense of the word, then you must commit to discipline and relentless action. That is the only way. And remember, discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It gives you control over your destiny. It gives you strength when others are weak. It gives you clarity when others are confused. And relentless action is not about being perfect. It is about never stopping. Step by step, brick by brick, rep by rep, you build yourself into something unbreakable. The reason fearless leaders exist is not because they never feel fear, but because their discipline and their relentless action make them stronger than their fear. They know that no matter what comes, they are prepared. They know that no matter what stands in their way, they will keep moving. And when the world sees that kind of unstoppable spirit, it has no choice but to respect it, to follow it, and yes, even to fear it.